Hi, this is Dave Garicki of the Detroit News, and this is our Detroit News High School Basketball Show. That's right, the season's already here. The basketballs will be out there, the tip-off on Monday night. We have special guests, including U of D Jesuit head coach Pat Donnelly. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Go ahead and talk about what your team looks like right now, because I know that you have a lot of talent. You got the big man, Jalen Thomas, Daniel Friday, obviously a very good player, and you also got Julian Dozier back. Talk about your team and what kind of expectations you have.
Oh, we always have high expectations. I'm excited about this season. As you mentioned, those three guys in the lineup. We've also got Jordan Montgomery coming back at the guard spot. Cassius Winston's been shooting it well and has improved his athleticism. Kaleb Hunter's coming back into the or transferred over from Southfield Christian. He'll be eligible in January. And JT Morgan is going to be a solid contributor for us as well, a 6'6" junior that can shoot the ball a little bit from the perimeter and can rebound and defend inside. So we're excited. We've got a good amount of talent.
Talk about Jalen and what he brings to your team, because it's nice to have a big man.
It's a real benefit to have a big man. He's a great shot blocker. He's a good rebounder. He scores well in the post, right hand, left hand. He's really developed his perimeter game, so he's stepping out and he's shooting jump shots now, extended it to the three-point line. So I don't want to see him take a ton of them, but if he picks and chooses his spots well, it'll be a real benefit to his game. But he's going to develop into a great player as he continues to get bigger and stronger.
Now we know, obviously, to make long runs, and you have forever, it seems like, you got to have good backcourt play. And, I mean, you just talked about Dozier's back, you got Hunter. But talk about Daniel Friday, because he's a 6'4" strong kid, and he can handle the ball too.
Daniel is Mr. Everything for us. He's a guy that's 6'4", about 220 pounds, that can put it on the floor. He can run the point for us. He plays on the perimeter. He can go down and post up. I think he's one of those guys in high school basketball. It's a real matchup problem because of how big and strong he is with his perimeter skills. So he's going to be a player that can be dominant in high school basketball this year. And I'll tell you, his commitment to Brown, they got a great one in the Ivy League. The Ivy League doesn't get players like that very often, and they really lucked out on that one.
Seems like you always have really, really good three-point shooting too, great perimeter shooting. And Kaleb, when he's going to become eligible in January, really is going to give you that, because 4 of 9 threes he hit in the state semifinal game last year when Southfield Christian won the Class D state championship. He made 60 for the year. So talk about the addition of him going down the stretch.
Well, adding somebody with the skill that Kaleb has is going to be really helpful to us. He's going to take that time from now until January, kind of learn our system,
which is great.
It's very different. Yeah, it's a great transition for him. There's no pressure on him to really perform until January. But adding him with his skill level, his ability to beat people off the dribble, he can create shots for others. He can knock down threes. Adds one more perimeter scorer to our lineup, and that just makes the post play even more effective.
Opens it up, huh?
So it's kind of pick your poison. You either guard the three-point line, or you guard Jalen in the post, or Daniel or JT in the post. And once we kind of figure things out a little bit and build that chemistry and what we're trying to accomplish offensively, I think that's going to be a very dangerous combination.
Talk about this last 6-year run, because it's obviously been special. 6 straight Catholic League championships. 2016 you win the state championship with Cassius Winston, who's turning into an All-American, it seems like, at Michigan State.
Right.
Talk about what it takes to be able to continue having that type of success on a consistent level.
Great players that buy in. And I'm a big believer in that. I've said it all along. Great players make great coaches. And I learned that when I first got into coaching. An old football coach used to tell me that it ain't the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and Joes. So I'm a big believer in that. We've had good players that have come to U of D that have really bought into the system, and Cassius was one of the leaders in starting that. He had the choice. I talked about it this morning with a prospective family, that he had the choice. He could go into any high school he wanted to in Detroit. But chose to stay at U of D to build a tradition of winning at U of D, rather than riding shirt tails of somebody that already had a tradition. And so I give him a lot of credit. His work ethic kind of transferred over to some of the younger guys, and now it's continuing that way. So we've got a lot of guys in the program that have learned the right way, how hard to work, and the kind of effort they need to be successful. And so we're rolling along pretty well now.
It's almost like they've watched the leadership, what it takes, and then they became a leader and then kind of passed that down.
Exactly.
Talk about the importance of that, because you just said Cassius Winston. Cassius stayed, built his legacy with you guys. We've seen this year more than ever our top players leave the state and they're going to play prep ball. I mean, Rocket Watts from Old Redford, he went to Spire Academy, Jermaine Jackson's team. He used to be the assistant coach at U of D, Detroit Mercy. Harlan Beverly left Southfield Christian after leading them to a state championship last year. Went to Mount Verdi, which is ranked #1 in the country.
Right.
I know it's exposure. Myron Gardner from Loyola, he left. Isaiah Jackson. It just seemed there's no fewer than 6, really probably top 15 players that have left this year.
Right.
Talk about the importance of keeping them, and why are some of them leaving? Because let's face it, the college coaches know who the great players are, and these guys have already been offered anyways.
Right. And I think the argument is, and the argument that those prep schools are going to use is that they're going to be able to play a national schedule. They'll be able to play against some of the top talent in the country. It's not about exposure. As you said, all these guys had offers already. It's about competition daily and making yourself better. However, I think we've got great basketball here in Michigan. I think there are great high school coaches that really develop players to become good basketball players as well as great people and students. And I hate to see all those guys leave. It waters down the state a little bit in terms of talent, but there's still some great basketball to be played and a lot of great players here in the state that have decided to stay and finish their careers and will go on to great college careers. And
talk about that, because your season opener just so happens to be December 1st, and you're going to be playing at Callahan Hall, and that'll be the Saturday at 4 o'clock, I believe, against New Haven and Romeo Weems, who is our #1 player in the state. Right. Paulie's going to go to. He led his New Haven team to a state championship a couple years ago. So talk about your schedule and who are some of the top teams that you're going to be playing.
That's actually our second game of the year. We're going to open on the 28th with DEPSA.
Detroit Edison.
Yep, a very athletic team. We're going to play New Haven. We're playing Flint Beecher this year. We're playing Grand Blanc, who's a very talented team. We're playing 2 teams from Chicago. We're going to play Chicago Orr here at the Round Ball in December, and then we're traveling to Chicago to play Morgan Park. The Catholic League is always tough, and I think our schedule will prepare us very well for the postseason. That's really what it's all about. My assistant, Reg Winston, tells me all the time that the regular season is a number of scrimmages just to prepare for postseason play. So we're excited. We're excited to have great competition to help make us better and help prepare us for postseason. And
you're playing different types of teams that can cause damage one way or the other.
Right.
Like Flint Beecher, for instance. I mean, guard dominated play. Jalen Terry, that's been offered by Michigan State.
I just saw he committed to Michigan yesterday. So
wow.
That's what we try to accomplish with our scheduling. Is we try to schedule the best competition that we can play. We want our guys to be challenged day in and day out, and as you mentioned, we're playing teams. Some will get up and press us and be very athletic and get up and down the floor. Others will slow it down a little bit. We want to be prepared for any style of play that we might face in the postseason, so that's why we play that schedule.
It's also nice if you're playing a game at Chicago. It's kind of like a road trip, and kind of like a bonding type thing.
It is a bonding experience. You guys stay in the hotel. I'm hoping that we'll get a chance to maybe go catch a Bulls game the night before, give them that experience, so we try to have a trip every year.
Talk a little bit about your son. You got to be proud of him. Colin, head manager at Michigan State, obviously learning a lot, wants to follow Dad and get into coaching, or maybe even broadcasting from what I hear.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
It was a dream of his since 3rd grade. I tell the story, it's kind of funny. He came down wearing his jacket and tie and had the karaoke microphone, dressed up with an ESPN badge, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "It's career day." And I said, "What do you want to do?" And he said, "I want to coach college basketball, and when I'm finished, I want to broadcast games." So he ended up going to Michigan State, wanted to be a manager, so he could learn the game and get involved in coaching after playing at U of D for 4 years. So that's been a great experience for him. He's learned a ton. He's got a lot of responsibility, which is tremendous for him. He's majoring in broadcast journalism, so he'll graduate in May. Now he's thinking about, should I be a graduate assistant somewhere else, or should I? Coach Izzo's talked to him about possibly trying to find a job in the NBA, working as a video coordinator, just to get his foot in the door in that coaching world.
It's nice to have those options, and it's also nice to have Coach Izzo on your side, right?
It can't hurt. Can't hurt. So you said following Dad's footsteps. I'm hoping not. I mean, that was my. I remember telling my parents I wanted to coach. My mother said, "Hey, that's great. Follow your dreams." My dad said, "You'll never make any money." They were both right.
But you've had a lot of fun, and you played a huge part in a lot of young men's lives.
It's been a great experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I told Colin, if you want to really make some money, you got to go to the big time and make those connections. So he's really enjoyed it. It's been a great experience. He's been treated very well by the coaching staff. Getting great experience for him. And I look forward to see what the future will bring for him.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you, Dave.
being a part of our show. And
I appreciate it.
I look forward to watching your teams play this season.
Thanks very much.